Today's battle is Dr. Manhattan versus Thanos. Who will win? Dr. Manhattan. A character in the Watchmen series, Dr. Manhattan was originally a human named Jon Osterman, who, after a nuclear accident, gained godlike powers. He can manipulate matter at the subatomic level, teleport, see the past and future simultaneously, and is virtually indestructible. His understanding of time allows him to operate outside of its linear constraints. Thanos. A major villain in the Marvel Universe, Thanos is a genetically deviant Eternal, known for his pursuit of power and the Infinity Stones. When equipped with the Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos can manipulate reality, time, space, and more, making him virtually omnipotent. Even without the gauntlet, he possesses superhuman strength, durability, and intellect. Before we dive into the analysis, please hit the subscribe button and remember to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you very much. Manhattan before Doomsday Clock was only considered a threat at the level of the solar system, while Thanos represents a threat at the level of the entire universe, although the Infinity Gauntlet only works within the scope of its own universe. However, the current version of Dr. Manhattan easily overwhelms Thanos, but rendering Thanos powerless for him is only a small challenge. In addition, Manhattan once eliminated Owlman when he was using the Mobius chair, an artifact that grants the user near-limitless knowledge. Mr. Mixie Uslick once asserted that Dr. Manhattan's power far exceeds his own. Mixie, who possesses the ability to possess power that can expand beyond fiction or reach infinite levels, not even the presence or one above all can reach that limitlessness. As mentioned, Thanos, with the Infinity Gauntlet, is only a threat on a single universe level. In contrast, Dr. Manhattan in the present day is an even more metaverse threat, as he easily destroys and recreates the entire metaphysical structure of reality. If you think Thanos could erase Dr. Manhattan from existence, think again. Manhattan, even after losing his humanity and being reduced to atoms, can still completely recreate himself. This also means that Dr. Manhattan can do the same to anyone. While Thanos is a powerful warrior with strength comparable to the Hulk, a strategic mind comparable to Captain America, and close combat skills like Black Widow, he is not a god like Dr. Manhattan. Dr. Manhattan has the ability to create new universes with the most mundane actions, and he can destroy them just as easily. Interestingly, Dr. Manhattan can completely erase the entire Marvel multiverse without much effort. He doesn't even need to appear in front of Thanos to defeat him. With his overwhelming power, Manhattan can erase every superhero and supervillain in Marvel, including Thanos, from existence without the need for the Infinity Gauntlet. A confrontation between the Mad Titan and Dr. Manhattan would only go one way, completely in Manhattan's favor. He cannot be erased with a single wish. Even if Thanos were to somehow snap his fingers and erase Manhattan from existence, he would still be reborn thanks to his ability to regenerate on a subatomic level. This ability allows him to heal as long as his consciousness survives, since Manhattan also exists in multiple dimensions. However, Thanos' intentions would not stand a chance, as Dr. Manhattan would not let Thanos snap his fingers. He could end Thanos with a look or a simple thought. The White Lantern Corps is the most powerful Lantern Corps ever. They have access to the entire spectrum of Lantern powers and can resurrect the dead, including other Lanterns. Their powers are insane. They are borderline reality benders. There is a reasonable chance that the White Lantern Corps could defeat an Infinity Gauntlet wielder if not put up a good fight. In an attempt to rally his forces, one of the White Lanterns searched through the timelines to revive other White Lanterns. The power of his ring accidentally touched the essence of Dr. Manhattan. The backlash destroyed all White Lantern rings in the multiverse. After this incident, there were no more White Lanterns. Dr. Manhattan barely felt anything and did not even know what had happened. The last story inherently becomes politically correct in the recent Spider-Man comic, which we read in the early 2000s. Bewildered, Mr. Mixcheap is often seen as a comedic figure, but he is a fifth-dimensional entity of incomprehensible power. He has made it clear that if he wanted to, he could destroy countless realities at once and reshape them. This demon also admitted that Dr. Manhattan was so far beyond him that he could not even comprehend his nature or abilities. Now, whatever the Mad Titan can do with the Infinity Gauntlet, the Good Doctor can do all of that without the Gauntlet in a much better way. Also, one thing to consider is that Doc exists outside of the timeline, which means the Time Stone would have no effect on him. He can easily warp reality into whatever he blurs, meaning he could erase Thanos from existence before he could react. Also, one factor that makes Dr. Manhattan superior to Thanos is that he has complete knowledge of his past, present, and future. He exists in all three continuities simultaneously. He could see Thanos coming millions of years in advance and act accordingly. The Infinity Gauntlet is strictly universal in terms of its capabilities, and it basically puts you at the top of the heap of universal entities and abstract entities. But this is a hard limit. Unique, wandering entities and entities that exist in multiple dimensions surpass the power of the Infinity Gauntlet. Dr. Manhattan is a unique, multi-dimensional wandering entity with feats of power greater than the Infinity Gauntlet. Honestly, feat-wise, I'm unlikely. The Living Tribunal could check Dr. Manhattan. Remember, on this planet, all parties are equal. People resemble monsters, fantastic art, all made of metal and glass, and they transform into beings. To me, they're pretty evenly matched. In both cases, he's far, far superior to the Infinity Gauntlet. Dr. Manhattan would absolutely destroy Thanos. However, if Jim Starlin were writing the story, Thanos could find a cosmic artifact with the ultimate Deus Ex Machina power, defeat Dr. Manhattan before he was even born, become the supreme being in the entire multiverse, and then lose his power in some strange way. It makes Lobo unleash an even more, but still the outcome would be in Dr. Manhattan's favor, or more accurately, he would realize he had already won and simply walk to that point in the timeline. What we know about Dr. Manhattan comes mostly from the early stages of his career, when he was just beginning to realize his powers. By the end of his journey, he has reached the level of the Beyonder, but with an intellect many times greater. Meanwhile, the power of a complete universe overwhelmed Thanos, who only has the power of a small portion of the cosmic pantheon. Never underestimate the power of time travel. Thanos is essentially a titan, or an old god, and in the Marvel Universe, Thanos, he is a miniature version of death, and Dr. Manhattan is a very modern version of Hermes, the symbol of evolution and new understanding. When faced with a choice between a young god and an old god, always bet on the younger one. Thanos' 10 seconds of time control is nothing compared to Dr. Manhattan's eternal foresight. It's like a pawn trying to run a race with a queen. If Doctor Strange can see a timeline where Thanos is defeated, Dr. Manhattan can not only see it, but go straight there without any effort or gesture. Or more accurately, he will realize that he has been in that timeline all along. As far as we know, neither of them can die in the conventional sense. When killed, Dr. Manhattan simply reassembles himself. When Thanos is killed, Death refuses to take him in because he is too infatuated with her, and she doesn't like that. Therefore, a fight between them would not end with the death of either of them, but rather with the dispersion of both particles over a large enough area to prevent regeneration in any reasonable time frame, a form of heat death or entropy death. However, Manhattan has the clear advantage here, as he can regenerate without any help, and also has the ability to manipulate multiple dimensions to hide small parts of Thanos, making his regeneration impossible. Subscribe to the channel, it helps us a lot, and moreover, you will get to see great videos every day. You are the best. Thank you very much. As many have noted, Thanos' tools only work in certain dimensions, while in others they may be useless. Dr. Manhattan, with his control over all of reality, can reach places where the Soul Gem is merely a zirconium, while Thanos is known for his incredible durability and willpower, being the living embodiment of the will of death. Even in the Marvel Universe itself, there are dimensions where he has been destroyed, depowered, or completely erased. Sir Robert Manhattan can easily see those dimensions and enter them, turning Thanos' weaknesses to his advantage. Dr. Manhattan's infant godlike ego is afraid to look beyond the tachyon screen to see a nuclear war he cannot prevent, and the death of everyone he loves, including, most likely, him. The good doctor is simply too powerful. He's basically godlike all the time. His only real weakness is whether or not he's motivated enough to fight. Dr. Manhattan is very apathetic, and so he tends to distance himself from others because he's bored and doesn't find anything particularly interesting. There's no known limit to his power except, again, his own motivation to fight. He can see every possible event that could happen to him along his own timeline. So if at any point Thanos attacked him and actually won, he would instantly know about it in every moment of his existence before that. He's smart enough and powerful enough that he could just recreate himself and learn how to fight Thanos. The Infinity Gauntlet is powerful and all, but it's not invincible. That's the case when he lost at the pivotal moment of Infinity War. As powerful as he is, he cannot predict what is happening and what will happen. This absurd level of prediction will be the deciding factor. Dr. Manhattan has never even revealed his full power, so if Thanos, without any power boost, tried to confront him, he would be destroyed in an instant. However, if Thanos used the Infinity Gauntlet, he would have a much better chance of matching Dr. Manhattan in power. The Infinity Gauntlet grants the wielder mere omnipotent power, making the outcome of the fight unpredictable. However, Dr. Manhattan has a very slight weakness to tachyons, although he can completely overcome this if given enough time. Therefore, if Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet knows this weakness and is able to exploit it, he could win, possibly. This would not work because Thanos is too durable, he has survived black holes and many other dangers. Thanos could very well defeat Manhattan, as he did the Silver Surfer, and possibly even find a way to prevent Manhattan from regenerating himself. To stand a chance, Thanos would need to prepare. Then he could find a way to gain some form of ultimate power, as he has done in the past. The Infinity Gauntlet would not be enough, as it only works in its own universe. But with Regulator, or the heart of the universe, Thanos would be a worthy challenge, since he has absorbed all of reality. But Dr. Manhattan has the ability to control everything at the subatomic level. And he also has super strength, immortality, flight, super genius intellect, teleportation, interdimensional travel, and more. He is virtually omnipotent. He can turn a gun into steam, exist in 3 places at once, and can see into his own future, past, and present. Thanos lost to a Lupomoid after she took his gauntlet while he was flying high through the starry sky to an astral plane. We eventually discover that Thanos lost because he chose to, because he didn't believe he was worthy of the Gauntlet's power. Dr. Manhattan was confused, lost his ability to see the future by the smartest man on Earth due to the tachyon bombardment of the environment. We eventually find out that Dr. Manhattan changed his mind about how he wanted to proceed because he was convinced by Ozymandias' reasoning. Dr. Manhattan realizes because he was convinced by Ozymandias' reasoning that if on the surface, it seems like the fight would go to Dr. Manhattan because he lost to one of the most capable beings in the known universe, and Thanos lost to a significantly less capable individual. Extra points lost for using the phrase Lupomoid. It also goes to Dr. Manhattan because he was only stopped by losing a small amount of his power, while Thanos was stopped by losing the damn Infinity Gauntlet. The Living Tribunal decided that the Gauntlet and all the stones combined would no longer work, and restored that level of power. Sure, things have changed since then, but in Secret Wars, where Doctor Doom essentially has the powers of an omnipotent god, the Gauntlet is relatively useless. Compare that to Dr. Manhattan. The thing is, the Gauntlet is an object that anyone can wear. Dr. Manhattan has the powers of most gauntlets without adding anything. It's all part of his abilities. He also exists above and between any given universe. He left the Watchmen universe and came to the DC universe. From there, he changed 10 years of continuity because, well, he wanted to conduct an experiment. It's heavily implied that he created the Flashpoint universe rather than Barry Allen, and even when Barry fixed it, Dr. Manhattan kept the Flashpoint universe alive until the Button arc years later. For all intents and purposes, Dr. Manhattan is basically godlike. You try to mess with his physical form in whatever universe you have the gauntlet in, no problem for him. He'll leave that universe and make you explode from outside that universe. Thanos with the Gauntlet and IS could destroy reality, thus erasing Dr. Manhattan, who is essentially pure energy incarnate, and energy is bound to the laws of reality. And on the other hand, Dr. Manhattan could instantly blow up Thanos, who, despite his resistance, is still made of matter. So the first one to act, in Dr. Manhattan's case, action, would be thinking, would win. In fact, I think Dr. Manhattan beats Thanos 100% of the time, because time has no meaning to Dr. Manhattan. As he says in the movie, he lives in the past, present, and future at the same time. This allows him to act while Thanos was still clasping his hands together to snap his fingers. I hope you enjoyed this fight. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, follow me if you like. That's it for today's video, thank you very much, and until the next time guys, remember, Joy's story is not a jock, but you can make a drag a part of your own story. And remember, Joy's story is not a jock, remember, Joy's story is not a jock, but you can make a drag a part of your own story.